Now, allegedly, Jonathan Majors grabbed her hand and slapped her. That's what she's saying. All right. At the same time, doing all this, put his hands around her neck, and then she was dropped off somewhere, and then Jonathan Majors spent the night elsewhere. Now, the girlfriend went to the police with visible bruises. All right? That's the key thing. Visible bruises.
Was he slacking on his macking? All right? You see what I'm saying? We missing the point. Yeah. You're sitting there texting. Should this already been in order? This is a high-profile brother. You in the car with me, it's going to be understood. You just hanging out with me, we cool, whatever. I might be texting somebody, should this all have been understood, under control, and this guy to go in to what we talk about on our single by choices, about men lying to women and stuff like that, and stuff along them lines. So
yeah, he's tripping for not just the
men. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Tell the damn truth.
Right. He should just be single. You know what I mean? At the stage he's at, he's powerful. Like, people are looking to bring you under. And I agree. I think this could happen regardless. But I do think that you can't underestimate the power in a white woman's tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
know it. And they know that.
Big facts.
We've seen the history behind that from Emmett Till, Central Park 5, even the homie 2 years ago, where the dog walking lady, like, they know how to, and all women know how. All women know how to, my daughter did it today. They know how to get a man's protective sense to come out. And when they call the police, they know how to rev up that danger. All women do, but it's even more dangerous for us as white men. As black men. But he wasn't on his game at all. He need to let her go and just be single and do him. He's tripping.
Hey, Seth, to add to that, look what happened with Michael Irvin during the Super Bowl. Same thing.
Bullshit.
Same thing. And then, they pulled this brother. They started pulling this brother's commercial too. I think he had one with the Army. They pulled this commercial.
This guy's a young man in Hollywood. At the end of the day, is the bachelor life worth it? If he was in that car with his wife and he was devoted to her, he wouldn't be in the news right now because he wouldn't have been on his phone texting another woman. Now,
allegedly.
I mean, that's just what I'm gonna pose that question. So allegedly. Shout out my man Serge, and you know what I mean? Just devil's advocate, if you will.
Yeah. Well,
I'll answer that real quick. I mean, it's better to be a bachelor. It's way more dangerous to be married. Being married is way
say. Hey, Fee, where you at? Fee sound like you in Baghdad somewhere, man.
Fee is at J&L Steel Mill right now.
Okay.
Hey,
let's go.
It's all good. I'm about to head out here, yo. It's good talking with y'all, gentlemen, man.
Yeah, appreciate
it. You all, Fee. You all.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Let's get some context about how being married is dangerous today. If you marry today, if you marry and you don't build with the person that you married with, you run a very strong risk of losing that deal. But if when you build with a person and y'all grow together and y'all are actually have pure intentions towards each other, you don't have these issues. And one thing we can't deny, as far as all of our experiences, you are who you attract. That don't just go for women. That goes for men too. You are who you attract. So
fucking hit her head, Willie.
Yes.
Go ahead, Willie. Put up on the big screen.
As bad experience we had, whether it's with white women, black women, as men, you ultimately must always take accountability. Always. There is no question. Straight like that. So this actor dude, it's all on him. I think he should either be 100% single and tell it like a T.I. is, say, hey, baby, like Gavin said, you with me for the moment. We here for a good time, not a long time. Or settle down and play it straight and narrow. Straight like that. But if you want to go ahead and play these twisted games in today's society and culture and do the whole, hipster Rolling Stone thing, they got a place for you. Don't play the games. Because Hollywood, Hollywood's a cruel monster.
Hey Marcus, what do I always say to you? And my man Willie like backed me up on this one. This is a big problem in our community. We raise our girls to be bad mates. And Willie just said, when you're a man, you gotta always take responsibility. And that is the biggest difference, and that's the number one difference. Women never take accountability, and men will always take accountability. When you see a divorce or you see a breakup, it is always the man's fault. Always. And guess what else? That man will not be a better man. He won't do better in life, and he won't get a better girlfriend unless he takes accountability, figures out what he did wrong in that relationship, and become a better man. That's the only way that he actually does better.
Listen, I talk to a group
females,
of
they
women.
could be trash. They could be trash over and over and over and over again. Men, we can't do that. We got to get better. We got to get into the gym. We got to make more money. We got to become better people. We got to figure out ways to improve who we are. Like, if you are in a long-term relationship and you get broken up with, you better fucking figure out what the fuck you need to make better about yourself. But women never got to do that. They never got to do that, and that is why we're at an advantage. That gives us an actual advantage on them.
I don't think so.
My issue with what you just said is basically you're saying that we need to raise ourselves to meet the standards of these women.
No, what I'm saying, can I finish?
Go
ahead, my bad, bro.
Because basically, what you instead of holding women accountable, basically and this is what I get. This is how I interpret what you're saying. I'm not saying that this is what you mean, but how I interpret what you said was basically men need to become more successful. Men need to be doing this, that, and the third. Everything is always put on the man's shoulders. Whenever the woman raised the standard for the man, and they keep raising the standard for the man, it shouldn't be all on our shoulders. Yes, we do need to take accountability because at the end of the day, it is a man's job to take accountability. However, that's not the issue in today's society, in my opinion. In my opinion, today's society keeps spoon-feeding women and allowing them to get away with murder, bro. And no matter how much a man can max out at success. What you're saying, a man can do all of those things and still end up being on the short end of the stick. So I don't think that is the overall solution to the problem.
What was your question, though?
It sounds like y'all agree with each other.
Yeah, because it sounds like we agree.
No. What I'm saying is, I said I disagree with having the man having to keep raising himself. I disagree with that part. It's not that a man shouldn't want to keep raising himself. I'm saying that the fact that the man has to keep raising himself to meet the standards of a woman, it shouldn't be like that.
Okay, brother.
That's what I'm saying. And from what I interpreted from you is you're saying that we should desire that, correct?
Nah, brother, you lost me.
He was saying that is the expectation that women hold on us. That's what he was saying. He was saying that women hold that expectation on us is what he was saying.
All right, so
or technically, I guess, male perspective, who knows, perspective as well, but yeah, nah.
All right, so yeah,
it's just the way, and the craziest part about it is, it's a lot of the dads, like the dads that have daughters. Like I was listening to my car to a rap song. I forget the name of it. I wanted to take a picture of it, but it was a rapper. He was telling his daughter like things to look out for a man. And it sounded really good on surface, but it was a much of the same, like, never trust a man, or, no, 7 rules. There you go. Yes.
I think it was like 7 rules or something. He went
down
7 rules.
The 7 rules song, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is this: if you take a deeper look to the 7 rules song, it'll give you an idea of what's wrong with women, because the men we're raising our daughters to not need men and to not trust men too. You see what I'm saying? But we don't raise our boys like that. We raise our boys to love women. We raise our boys to trust women. We raise our boys to do anything for women. We raise our boys that, yo, wait, you didn't do this?
Not any goddamn thing. We're not going that goddamn far. We ain't about to do that.
No. Okay. Well, for the minute I was raised, it was, yo, make sure women don't cheat. Women are good. Make sure you open the doors. Make sure you're doing this and make sure you're doing that. You make sure you serve women. I was raised to serve women. That's how I was raised.
Though. That's my message to my
son.
Don't be no sucker out here for no woman.
I'm not saying be a simp. I got 2 boys. I'm not saying be a simp.
He's saying
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying chivalry. Like, just be respectful and always, yo, you can't have a wife unless you are valuable to that woman. Agreed. Like, that's how I've always been raised. You gotta bring value to the table. We do not raise our women to bring value to a man. We don't do that. Even by dads and by men. Men don't tell their daughters like what men want. We give our daughters cheat codes on how to play men. We give our daughters cheat codes on how to be successful without men because that's your daughter and that's who you love. But we don't raise daughters to be like, yo, this is how you serve a man. And this is how you'll be happy with a man. That's the fucking difference.
Is that because a lot of us ain't shit? And it's like we done a lot of ain't shit stuff. So now we're able to tell our daughters what to look out for.
I think we're reciprocating what we've been taught. I think it's pretty much what you've been taught, you kind of like pass down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like as me growing up as a man with the men in my life, it's always been like that coach player situation where, you know, right after the game, we're going to talk about what you did wrong. We're going to talk about what you did right as well. Whereas men, that's what we do with each other. We're going to tell each other the good and the bad, where I feel like women don't have that kind of process with each other. All they do is build each other up. You know what I'm saying? That's why they get to their 30s and 40s and they still think they're in their 20s. Whereas if I'm in my 30s, my boy's going to tell me, bro, you ain't young no more. For sure. Women, that's a no-fly zone with women.
There you go.
You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like, and even as us as fathers, like we don't so much preach accountability to our daughters, but we preach accountability to our sons. And we need to find a way to teach the women in our lives how to have these constructive conversations with each other without just trying to don't build up, but also bring that critique. Whereas men, critique is there. You're going to tell me the truth. Whereas with a woman, you might try to tote the line. Like, I don't want to hurt her feelings a little bit. We're taught not to hurt women's feelings.
There you go.
Do y'all remember me saying that this boy Seth Whitted articulates himself like no other? That man is a beast. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Like, you really got my point across, man. Good stuff, man.
Real quick, Serge, I'll get you in here first. I want to bring this full circle. All right. So the net of it, Jonathan Majors was arrested. We just heard what happened. They were in the limo. He was texting. She looked over his shoulder. He was texting another woman. She tried to snatch the phone out of his hand. Then she said he turned around and he strangled her, maybe hit her a little bit, and she went to. That's what she told the police. Then she went back next day and dropped the charges. Now, Mr. Jonathan Majors here, he just got done planning the movie where he's boxing and fighting, right? They say he has a history of domestics, DV on his record. He has an offense. So people are saying something could have happened, then she went and dropped the charges. She said she was strangled, this and that. So my net of it is, could something have happened in that limo, or is this brother completely innocent?
My fault.
In my opinion, some could have happened.
That's what I feel.
Nobody was there. Nobody was there.
Probable that it happened? I would hope not. You would think somebody with, this much resources at this point in his life would be smarter. I don't know.
He choked that bitch all up in that motherfucker. That's what he did. He choked the shit out of her in that motherfucker. He didn't beat her, but he choked her.
You got some brothers on the other end, Willie. When they get that money, they feel invincible. So therefore, they on the opposite end, feeling like they could put their hands on somebody and get away with it. You know what I mean? So y'all look at it from that way too.
But Gab, you was talking about like there's been a history of this, and I watched this on another show when they were saying he went to Yale or something like that. Is that correct? Is there back in those days that people who knew him, they were saying like this isn't a surprise. They figured something like this would eventually come out because of the history he has with this. Now, did he beat her ass all up in there? I ain't gonna say that, but I do believe something did happen though.
See, but
I find it amazing for a man like this to be on top of the world right now, cover of Vogue and the hottest movies. All of a sudden, this come out, and now everybody remember when he was being violent.
And that's
this is when I started to get into my conspiracy side, man.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
And it just because at the end of the day, there ain't no hate in my heart, and I hate to see any successful brother or sister fall like this. But this is due to his own stupidity, and I'm sorry.
Well, clearly he's not a good decision maker because he ended up with her.
There you go.
All right,
that was a terrible decision.
So
yeah, he moving a little wonky. Money don't make you smart, I guess.
Money doesn't make you smart, but at the same time, he's going to be judged by his history regardless.
They say he's going to end up like Chris Brown.
And that's the thing. But here goes the thing, though.
There you go. Now he got the Chris Brown going on for the next 15, 20 years. Good luck.
Let's bring up Chris Brown, though. Let's bring up Chris Brown. So Chris Brown has had one allegation that actually he's never been charged. Has he been charged? He's been charged one time.
Now, sir.
No, Chris Brown got charged one time, right? For Rihanna.
Yeah, you said allegation.
No,
he
did
that.
All right, so
he beat that ass.
He has that one incident, but then people keep bringing up all these other incidents because of that one incident.
That's true.
That are allegations. That's
true.
what I meant to say.
That's
and
true.
So because of Chris Brown's history of his past, it will always follow him. Now, here's the fucked up part about it. Rihanna also was swinging on Chris, but nobody brings that up.
Of course not.
So there we go, Serge. I ask you the question: is the bachelor life worth it? Then,
it depends on what you're willing to go through. That's really it depends on what you're willing to go through. In my opinion,
that's a really good question. That is a really good question.
In my opinion, no, I wouldn't be willing because at the end of the day, man, we all human and we all want peace and some sanity. And I mean, like, there's no peace and there's no sanity in that.
There's no peace and sanity in being a bachelor.
No, not being a bachelor and being in a situation such as that, where he has a history, he now has money, he now has success, but his history will always trump his money and his success if anything bad ever happens. His history will always outweigh, no matter what he does, no matter how successful he becomes, people will always remember.
For sure. And especially as a black man, because we see it all the time. We have black victims that die, and they pass something they did in 1997, followed them to 2023. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that to white people. But go ahead.
That's the fucked up part about it. And like, it's, once again, it depends on what you're willing to go through. Like, some people, being a bachelor is the best thing in the world. Some people, being in a relationship is the best thing in the world. And it could be an iffy situation on any spectrum. Look at Dr. Dre.
In the middle, you got to do both.
I mean, like, look at Dr. Dre. That man was married, and that man went through what the hell he went through, and now he got to give up half. Or not half, but he got to give up a good amount. And I mean, for no fucking reason. So would you rather stay a bachelor in his case? I bet he would. But at the same time, Jonathan Majors, I bet he wishes he chose a different person to court.
How old is Jonathan Majors? Do we know?
I think he's mid-30s, early mid-30s.
That old.
No, he just turned 30, yeah.
He's right now, like, his success is, he's damn near the new Denzel right now. I mean, or I don't want to put him on that pedestal, but he's the new.
Is he a better actor than Michael B. Jordan?
It's close.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I like Jonathan Majors as an actor. I like the several roles that he played were, in my opinion, enough for me to actually make an assessment on his acting. And he brings a lot. He brings a lot to that. His characters like that. His movie Devotion, man, really sold me on him. That's really
I like
what
Michael B. Jordan since he was Wallace on The Wire, though.
But I also like Michael B. Jordan too, man. I can't hold them. Both of them too, man.
Okay, what you got, Pope? What you got?
Oh, all right. So listen, I always say this, man. As black people, we all agree that white supremacy is real, racism is real. We all agree to that. But there's a couple instances where we get blind spots. For women, they get blind spots when it comes down to money. When it comes down to black men making money and white men making money, all of a sudden, racism isn't all that real. Y'all need to go out there and make more money. Okay? When it comes to black men, and any situations they get in trouble with, if they're with a white woman, we get a blind spot about racism. We automatically chuck it up to, man, he was with that white girl. He was with that white girl. We completely forget about racism, white supremacy. The brother, what's his name? Jonathan Jordan? What's his name? Jonathan what?
Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Okay. The brother is ascending to some unreal, another atmosphere when it comes to acting. And all of a sudden we forget, man, that white supremacy is out there. And we forget that they're going to attack this man and make sure that they got something to hold over his head before he becomes a superstar, much like they did Oprah Winfrey. Before Oprah Winfrey became a superstar, her dad was into all that them problems. They made it go away, and then they made sure they was like, hey, we can make it come back. So what I'm trying to say is, he's an ascending superstar, and they just want to have something to hold over his head.
But why?
But
why him and not Michael B. Jordan? though?
Let me finish. But I'm happy you said that. But instead of us saying, you know what, this is them at it again, we're like, see, look at that girl he with. But as far as Michael B. Jordan, keep in mind they put Michael B. Jordan in dresses and blouses every chance they get. So they're working with him, and he's working with them. So all I'm saying is this: I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know every fucking single detail. But what I know is this: what happened with him and that girl has nothing to do with race. It got nothing to do with his girlfriend being white. Nothing at all. I feel like it has a lot to do with, we're gonna have something to hold against you. They did it to Bill Cosby. Listen, no black superstar makes it out unscathed. The only one I can think of is Denzel Washington. It's the only one I can think of.
And he's been married for what, 40 years?
Other than that, man, we know that they smash all of our guys. So I'm not surprised by this again. And I really hope that we would start with these blind spots. Man, let's look at who's really the fucking problem. The real issue. You know what I mean? Okay, Jonathan Majors' girlfriend is ugly and she's white. But who's the real fucking problem?